Hey, it's AJ from KINCROME. We've got something a little different for you. We've got the Digital Torque Adaptor in a 1/2-inch drive. Come over and have a look. Now what I'm going to do today is we're going to take you through and show you how to set this up and also how to use it. And we'll talk about some of the real advantages of this tool. Now I've taken this straight off the shelf over here and unboxed it. It's in a little blow mold case. And before you start, you can see the size of this, the size compared to an actual torque wrench. You know, it's really small. So even in a blow mold case, if you're traveling with this in the car, you're going to motorcycle meet or something like this, this is all you really need. You don't have to lug around your big torque wrench, and you can use it with any ratchet or even a breaker bar or a flex handle, and it works a treat. It's a 1/2-inch drive. So the first thing that you need to do when you first get this out of the case is to activate the battery, and you just pull this strip out and it activates the battery. Now the battery's, it's got a really good power saving mode, so if you're not using it for a little while, it'll shut itself down, so be aware of that. And to start it, you just push this middle button here, you hold it down, okay, and it will go into its certain modes. Now if you have a look at the actual the screen here, you've got 5 different modes here. You've got kilogram centimeters, kilogram meters, you've got inch pounds, foot pounds, and also Newton meters. So for today's test, we'll use Newton meters. And you've also got 2 other modes called peak and trace. Now I will show you that a little bit later, how that really works, but in short, peak just shows you the absolute maximum Newton meters that you've applied to a fastener, and it holds the value there, whereas the trace goes up and down. So if you were to apply a bit of force, the trace number goes up and then it returns back to 0. So I'll show you how that works a little bit later. Okay, now to move it around, if you wanted to change the functionality, you hold the memory and the peak button down, and then you can access. You can see these arrows moving through foot pounds, inch pounds, and you work your way through the different modes. But we'll stay on Newton meters. And down the bottom here, you've got the plus and minus, and that's how you set the Newton meter or the torque value. Okay, and you hit the plus button, and you can see I've actually preset this to 40 Newton meters. This has a range between 40 and 200 Newton meters, so you can apply quite a lot of torque to this. Now I'm going to set it at 40 just for the sake of this exercise, and I'm going to make sure it's on trace. So we'll just click the P is for peak, and then traces for trace. Okay, so to set up, I've pretty much got that right. I've set my Newton meters to 40, I've set it to Newton meters, I'm ready to go. I just apply the socket to this end here, okay, and then I'm going to use just a standard ratchet, okay, and then you attach that down as well. Now, just for the sake of the video, I've got this nice little bit of apparatus here, and I'm going to set it so that you can see the display. Now before you actually have a go at me, this is something that you really don't need to torque. You don't really need to do that, but for the sake of the exercise, it's nice and easy to see we're going to do it. Okay, so we just apply it to the fastener here, and we'll make sure that you can see that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's on trace mode at the moment, and it's at 40 Newton meters. And you can see I'm just putting a little bit of weight on that, and you can see it's already moving. I'm going to make sure that's sitting there too. Now, when you apply the force, once it gets to 80% of the value that you've set, so 80% of the 40, it'll beep at you, okay? It's warning you that it's coming up pretty close. And as you get to the number, it'll really beep at you. It holds it, and you'll be able to see that. So as I put some pressure on, I'm getting closer and closer. Okay, so that's the warning. It's 30, it's getting close to the 40. And as I hit the 40, there you go. So it beeps right on the 40. It's giving me a plus or minus error rate of 2% there. So it's a really, really accurate tool. Let's just do that again. And you can see how the traces worked. I put the pressure down, it's gone up to the value, I've let it go, it's gone back to 0. Okay, the warning. Okay, and there's my torque. Now if I change that to peak, I'll show you what I mean by peak. Click that, I've changed the format to peak setting. So it's going to hold the value as I push down. Again, the warning. And the maximum torque that I put on that was 43.6. Another thing to note though, as you're ratcheting down, the display is going to turn with the socket, so you might not be able to see it. And that's where the peak value might come in real handy. I know that I've got the noise that I was looking for, I know I've got the right torque, but if I really want to have a look exactly what I set it at, that's where the peak would come in really handy for it. Okay, so there you go. It's a great tool. And like I said before, the advantage of this is it's really small and it goes with your other tools, and you don't have to lug around your normal oversized torque wrench, and you can also use it with the breaker bar or flex handle. So, digital torque adapter, love it.